Here we have this month's Barra Jacks box. So let's dive in, have a look at all the goodies you've got this month. All right, we're going to start off with the soft plastics because they're all fairly similar, but also quite different at the same time. This time of month is a great time to start throwing your big paddle tails. With that warmer weather, the fish can be just quite spontaneous, you know, up and down, sometimes really shut down because it's extremely hot, or because of the heat and humidity, especially before a storm rolls in, they can really build up and start chewing. So the best all-round plastic for this, we think, is a bunch of paddle tails. We've included 3 different paddle tails this month, starting off with the Storm 360 GT search bait. So these are essentially your go-to lure at the start of the day. If you just got to pepper out heaps of casts and just look for where these fish might be holding up. It does come rigged with one jig head in one of the plastics. That's a 3/8 of an ounce with a huge heavy hook on it, so it's ready to go. Pop it on first thing in the morning, go chase your fish. Then you've got the Chase Baits paddle bait in a 5.5 inch. Once again, big paddle tail, big round body on them. So these are going to give you a very big body roll as you slow roll these through the water. I'm going to fish these all fairly similar, but you can rig them up differently. So I'd have the 360 GT search baits rigged up the way they are, ready to go. I'd maybe hook up some with a lighter head as well, if you're going to be flicking the edges or going for a slow sink. And then I'd also rig up the third batch, which we'll get to in a second, with a weedless hook. So the Chase Baits one here, this is probably going to be the one I'll rig up with a weedless hook, but still with a fair bit of weight to it. So you can skip this up underneath some overhangs or work it in some heavy structure, some rock walls, lay downs, whatever. But that means you can get this one in nice and deep. And then you've got your 360 GT search baits for covering more open water. Then we've got the Zesta Shadster. So these are another big paddle tail, but have a little fork cut out of the tail as well. So it does give it a slightly different action through the water. This one here, we've actually included some TT 3/860 jig heads, and they're going to be great for these plastics. But they're a much lighter weight than the one that comes in the 360 GTs. So essentially you're getting 2 different options. You're getting a heavier, faster sinking option with your 360 GT, and then your TT tournament jig heads mashed up with your Zesta paddle tail plastics is going to give you a much slower sink. So if you're maybe fishing an outgoing tide where you've got some gutters and you just want to let the tide work that plastic for you, which is a great way to find fish, because often where that water's running, there's predator fish sitting at the end of it, just picking off all the bait that's being washed out. So a great way to fish that is the lighter jig head with a big paddle tail to make sure that it gets that nice slow sink and that nice slow swim. Then we've got 2 hard bodies here for you this month. We'll start off with the Bagley Minnow B05. So this is essentially what you're looking at as a classic barra or classic jack lure. It's got the 3 trebles hanging underneath. You may want to upgrade these hooks if you are fishing in big barra territory, but being a long, thin minnow profile, you can really get twitchy and pawsy with it. Cast it up next to some of your laydowns or your fallen timber and twitch, rip it down, pause, and then this thing will just slowly float back up. Twitch, pause, and then just to burn it back out again in case it's that fleeing bait they're looking for. Then last but not least, you've got your Rapala Walk and Roll Max Wrap. So this is kind of a hybrid little bait here. It's essentially a pencil or a stick bait, but you'll notice it's also got this slightly angled, slightly cupped face on the front. So as you walk it, it's actually going to be spitting out a little bit of water as well, which can essentially enhance the action or the excitement that this lure is giving off. Don't be afraid to add in a lot of pauses, especially if you nail that good cast in amongst some structure, some timber, some rocks or whatever. Cast it in. When it hits the water, you let it pause and then start working it back out, twitching your rod up and down. But I'll only do maybe 2 or 3 twitches, pause, let it sit close to that snag still. If no interest, then speed it up a little bit faster, twitch, 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 and just let it just come all the way back out to the boat or your kayak or land-based, wherever you're fishing from. But yeah, make sure you do add a few pauses in, because that can be crazy. It can be really good, giving the fish the chance to come up and have a look at it before they go and strike it. And in all boxes this month, we've included these cool little tackleclub.com.au bottle openers. So it is on a little key ring, hang it on your keys, and then if you ever find yourself feeling parched and you've got a bottle in your hand, Tackle Club is here to help. But that's it for the Barra Jacks box this month. If you want to check this one out, or any of the others in the range, just head to www.tackleclub.com.au, pick a box that's right for you, and welcome to the club.